If you've been in a CI role for more than 5 minutes, you've probably felt the gap between what you can help with and what leaders actually ask you to do. And you might have wondered, why aren't they listening? Why am I not being utilized? Why does it feel like I'm only being asked for tools? We'll unpack all of this in this episode of Thoughts on Change. Welcome to Thoughts on Change, the podcast about the messy, political, emotional, deeply human side of leading change. I'm Kelly, and I believe anyone can implement lean tools until they actually have to get people to use them. Around here, we talk about how to move culture, how to build credibility, and how to influence without bulldozing. Basically, how to herd humans without losing your mind. At the end of last year, I spent some time talking with women in CI roles across industries, and that same tension kept popping up. Many feel like their leaders either aren't hearing them, don't understand how they can help, or don't see the full value they bring. When I asked what was underneath that, one word kept popping up: credibility. But here's the thing I've learned: influence and credibility are assets we build, not one and done traits. Both are like bank accounts you make deposits into through daily behaviors, not through job titles. But before we get into how to build credibility, we need to look at what it actually is. Stephen M. R. Covey talks about this in his book, The Speed of Trust, and he breaks credibility into 4 components, grouped into 2 buckets: character, which is integrity and intent, and competence, which are capabilities and results. Now, CI practitioners are typically hired for competence, right? Your capabilities or the potential to grow into them, which means if you are still not being listened to or you're not being included in bigger conversations, the problem may not be competence. The gap may be showing up in character based credibility, your integrity and your intent. So today I want to go deep on this first one: integrity. Integrity sounds so simple. Say what you mean, do what you say. But in CI and culture change work, integrity is practical and visible. People watch how you behave before they buy into what you recommend. So ask yourself, am I doing what I ask others to do? Do I stay aligned when it's inconvenient? Do I listen when someone has a better idea than mine? Do I update my thinking when reality gives me new data? Let me give you an example of this. Last year, our site launched a strategic initiative to implement tiered daily management. The previous system was one big meeting where different divisions reported their actions, then left. It worked functionally, but there was no linkage to performance, no shared problem solving, and no actual teamwork. After observing this for a few weeks, I could see the potential. I also knew it would be hard for teams to change how they manage their days, and I could already hear the resistance. You don't have to do this. Why should we? And honestly, that's a fair question. So I started myself. I built my own daily management system with boards, metrics, Pareto charts, action logs, the whole 9 yards. Because if I wanted to live daily management, if I wanted them to live it, I needed to live it too. And then something interesting happened. People started questioning my boards. They critiqued my charts, they suggested changes, and I integrated their feedback. That's integrity. Not because I was perfect, but because I was practicing what I preached in public and with humility. In culture change, integrity isn't just alignment, it's perceived alignment. People notice whether you are willing to be uncomfortable alongside them, and that is what they want to see. There's another integrity gap that CI folks don't talk about enough. What happens when you're asked to implement something that you don't believe in? I've been there. I once rolled out something I didn't believe in, and the team picked up on it immediately. They asked why we were doing it, and my response couldn't hold because I didn't believe my own answer. In those moments, you have 3 options. 1, push back up until you understand the intent and can get behind it. 2, Try to connect it to something you do value so you can authentically champion it. Or 3, name it honestly. Right? I'm struggling to fully believe in this, but I'm committed to helping us move forward. That kind of honesty builds trust. Even when the initiative isn't ideal, the message of how you hold it matters. So, what do you do with this? If you want to build credibility through integrity, start small and tangible. This week, audit alignment. Pick one place you're asking others to follow a standard and check, are you modeling it? Then ask for feedback from someone who will tell you the truth. And then practice some transparency, especially when you're internally conflicted. Share that you're not fully on board with something and that you're trying yourself to get behind it. And then reflect. Where did integrity boost your credibility? Where did you see some erosion? Integrity is a credibility builder because it closes the gap between what you say, what you do, what you believe, and what others experience from you. And that gap, when left open, is where culture change efforts fail silently. This is also why I built the Transform framework to help women in CI shift from feeling dismissed or stuck to leading with clarity, confidence, and influence. And we start with the resistabots, those internal narratives that undermine our credibility from the inside. Then we shift into observing how our behavior shapes the environment. And eventually, we grow into becoming change shapers. And the first characteristic of a change shaper is connecting with curiosity and compassion. And none of that works without integrity. Credibility begins there. So if you want to learn more about credibility, stay tuned for the next episode of Thoughts on Change, where we will dive into the second element of character, intent. And don't forget, follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram for more tips on how to become a kick-ass CI warrior without losing your mind. Thanks for listening. That's a wrap for this episode of Thoughts on Change. If you're also out there trying to move culture instead of just installing tools, hit subscribe and share this with a fellow CI warrior. And remember, progress beats perfection, curiosity beats control, and culture beats everything. See you next time.